Okay, this is a Sansui 2000X. It's a 40 watt amp. It's rated at 40, but from what I've read about it, it is realistically around like a 33, 34. But it's a highly regarded amp, and this one is a very clean example of it. Got it for a fair deal, and it was pulled out of a console, so it came without a cabinet, but that's fine because I'm going to go ahead and build a cabinet for it. It does have the bottom. I already removed the bottom from it. It doesn't look like it's been removed. The screws were not scratched or anything. And looking at all of these traces and soldered joints, and it looks all original. So it doesn't look like anybody's been in here. I've already powered it up when I first got it, and the lamps are out. It sounds good. The tuner is in working order. I can't tell if it's actually got stereo signal or not. However, when I switch it, it does sound like I'm getting a left and a right channel in stereo. So I'm thinking that the lamps are just out. The dial lamps are out, and there's no stereo indicator lamp, and there's no power indicator lamp. I ordered actually some lamps. I just got them in the mail today. And we're going to go ahead and install some lamps on it. And I'm going to just check some voltages on it. And we'll see where we are. Okay, so light bulb replacement on SX 2000X. You don't need to remove the faceplate as I have, but I was removing that to clean the faceplate. And also clean all the dials. But all you need to really do is remove a couple screws that are holding down the light assembly plate, and then I just release the wires from this little wire clamp here. A piece of clear plastic tubing, being 50 years old, of course cracks when you bend that metal retainer, and so I do have some clear plastic tubing. I'll just slip over that and make it look original. These are the original bulbs, as you can see here. There's nothing that is sending up any warning flags. If I opened this up and there were like LEDs that were burnt out or something, then I'd be worried. But as you can see from the factory, they put a little bit of paint on there. And so these are the original 50-year-old bulbs, only one of which still works, which is the meter bulb. I got my bulbs from, stereolamps.com, from the Just Audio guys down in Delaware. Cool store. I haven't been there physically, but they always do neat little videos on their new products, and then they have like a little talk show they do. So I like to support the small businesses, and so very reasonable. Get a whole LED replacement kit, and so this is it. You got to wiggle this out of there. It doesn't feel like, if you're not comfortable doing this stuff, and you undo the screws, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I'm gonna break something. But it's really not that bad. You just have to undo those wires so you have a little room to play with, and then you just kind of wiggle it out, and it'll come. Okay, so got the bulbs in, the dial face bulbs, and the function selector bulbs are in. Now, I used a little hot glue just in the front, so I put them on. Before you pull it into the casing, you put it on just around here, and you pull it in, and then I just went ahead and just dabbed a little on the back. Now this is very hard, like rubber, so it doesn't melt. It just minimally bonds with this hot glue, so you're not doing any damage to anything, and it holds the LEDs in place. The reason why I had to use the hot glue is because, as you can see, the casing difference there, so there's not a lot to grab onto. So yeah, it's an imperfect solution to a necessary replacement. And then on these ones here, since these were painted in, again, I just took a little dab of hot glue just to hold it in place. I imagine they put that paint on there originally to protect against any vibration, I would imagine, in shipping, or if you have it on top of a speaker. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, so as long as I've got this open and working the pots, they are now all smooth and functioning. I figured I might as well start replacing these problem transistors, these 458s. These are notoriously noisy transistors that break down over time. They're in Sansuis and Kenwoods and Pioneers, and they were used all throughout the early 70s and mid 70s. Let's see here, get a good shot of this. These are the 458, what are they, LGs, or they're the black legs on them. So the pinout on these are, if you're looking at it like this, I believe base, collector, emitter, with emitter being closest to the screen right now. And the replacements I'm using on these are the KSC for 1845s. And I believe, I have to check this before I'd install them, but the base collector emitter is reversed on these. But again, I'll confirm that with the multimeter as well as the data sheet on these. But I always check them with the multimeter as well, just to be sure. Sometimes you have to kind of spread out the legs in different orders. Sometimes the emitter is in the place of the collector and vice versa, where the middle leg needs to be stretched out. But I believe this one is just reversed. So you just flip them. But again, always check, and I will be checking. So starting with these, I've got some film caps I'm going to replace some of these 1UF lower value caps with. I'm not going to do a full recap right now. I just have the board out. I figure as long as I've fiddling with it, I'm going to replace some of the lower UF caps. Okay, so this is I've got the replacement transistor here with the flat side orientated down in the tester. If you don't have one of these testers, pick one up on like Amazon. They're like 20 bucks, man. They're very easy. Makes life easy and quicker. This one here is the KSC 1845, and if the data sheet is correct, I should have emitter, collector, and base. Going emitter 1, collector 2, and 3, slot being the base. So I'll go ahead and test this. And so 1 is emitter, 2 is collector, and 3 is base. So that is correct. Orientation, flat side down. So let's go ahead and take this one out. This is the one, this is the 458 LG that it's replacing. These are notoriously noisy and problematic with degradation transistors. If you have these, don't wait for them to go bad. Just pull them and replace them. So orientation, flat side down. So this one is base, collector, emitter. All right. So it is backwards. So in order to replace this transistor with the 1845, what you're going to do is you're just going to basically install this one in the reverse orientation that the 4/5/8 are coming out. This is the VBE multiplier capacitor. The Conrad Hoffman mod to ensure good high frequency. So he recommended using a 22 UF 25 volt, and that's what I'm doing here. Tack that one end down. Now I'm going to go ahead and we'll do the other one. Alright, so got the VBE multiplier capacitors. According to the Conrad Hoffman mod page, we use 22 UF 25 volt, and so that's what I used. And repopulated the amp board, replaced the problem 4/5/8 transistors. With some KSC 1845s, and there's some bipolar caps mixed with some fine gold and some Panasonic audio grade. So I'll go ahead and trim this up, and I'll go ahead and we'll put it back in and adjust the bias. Alcohol in a swab. Getting in there with a swab allows you to just kind of double check and inspect all your solder joints and make sure you don't have any cold solders. Also gets any old flux off of there that was corroding. There she be.